Today I wanted to talk about why no one wants a 9 to 5 job anymore. A lot of people are losing hope in the American dream because y'all see what's going on. They are wilding out here. I'm not gonna cap. But we're gonna talk about very specific things that I have lined up right here and why a lot of people feel like it makes no fucking sense to have a job in 2025. Number one, they make it hard as a motherfucker to get a job, even when you have the credentials, right? A lot of my people that have computer science degrees or degrees in general, you could have a master's in any particular field. For some fucking reason, they make it hard as fuck to acquire a job. And there's a lot of people who have master's degrees who are still working at Starbucks. And let's talk about Starbucks, McDonald's, them type of jobs that pay like $7, $8 an hour, depending on where you are, where you can't even still afford basic necessities, rent and shit like that. Bro, they make it seem like how. I remember one time I applied for Family Dollar when I first was getting out the field. That was like 2015-ish. They said I wasn't qualified. How the fuck does someone not be qualified for Family Dollar, gang? Let me know. Let me know, because y'all not paying $30 an hour. And it don't look like a hard job. You could they're gonna train you. So I don't understand the logic. If we need money to exist, eat food, get rent, pay our rent, get a car, drive around to our jobs. For those who do not live in the NYs of the sea and can't take the MTA, you feel what I'm saying? Because we got the best train system in the block. How the fuck are we gonna do that if y'all make it so difficult for us to get that job? And then when you do get the job, the shit pays $2.25. Like, what the fuck? This shit is crazy, right? So you make it hard as hell to get a job, and then you be like, entry-level jobs be like, oh, you need 15 years of experience. How the fuck is that entry level? You know, all right, let's look up the definitions of entry level definition, right? Let's look it up, entry, right? At the lowest level in employment hierarchy, suitable for a beginner or first-time user, basic. How the fuck is a first-time user required to have 3 to 5 years of experience, and then they have the nerve to train you? They're gonna be like, we'll train you. So what the fuck is the point of needing experience, right? I know some people may disagree with me and be like, oh, well, it's just to make sure that you have the prerequisites. I understand that, but it's like, how does one even get acclimated in the field if they can't even do that? Like, for a lot of the computer science people, right, that didn't do internships, apprenticeships, and they just learn a theory, right? They get into the job market and they can't get employed. And it's just like, they don't know any better, some of them, right? A lot of people are waking up now because they're like, oh yeah, we gonna need experience. That's like number one. If you're trying to do cybersecurity or anything in that field, IT, help desk, any of that, they're gonna give you a very hard time if you do not have a GitHub portfolio experience. You need experience. Experience trumps that degree. I'ma just keep it a band. And that's the craziest shit in the world, right? Because it's like, I spent $50,000 on this degree and I can't even get in the door for a 40K a year job? Gang, what the fuck? This shit is rigged. So that knowledge that a lot of our generation, I was born in 98, so I don't know what generation that is, but I'm like in a blend with Gen Z now. So I'm like in between. So I see the concerns on both sides, right? A lot of the people are becoming self-aware now, and they're like, damn, I don't want to deal with that. So they check out prematurely, and it's like, there's no point. That's why they be like, all right, I'd rather grind out YouTube or streaming and then this, that, and the third, right? And then another thing about it is America is so populated, there's more people than there are jobs. So realistically, if you want to just be mathematical about it, the ratio is terrible. There's not a job for everybody, right? So that's another thing that makes it like, damn, there's no point, right? It's like, there's no guarantee that you're gonna be good, right? And speaking of no guarantee, right? This leads me on to my second point, right? Gone are the days where you get like benefits for sure, and then and then you don't get fired. You know how many layoffs they had these last 3 to 4 years, my nigga? After the release of the pandemic, after we came back to society, you feel what I'm saying? After we done cracked down for like 2 years, I'm changing up the wording because you two gonna try to violate if I say the word. After we done came back into real life, the layoffs was crazy, right? Because I'm assuming, this is just my thoughts, right? From what I can remember from having conversations with people in the software engineering field, right? Is that they hired a lot of engineers because they were getting a lot of bread around that time, and a lot of them were very entry level. They weren't qualified, right? So I could understand that. But I've seen positions, I've heard complaints from people who are seniors, right, in different fields who still can't find a job. And it's like, how does that make sense? If you're a senior with 8 to 10 years of experience, why are you having a difficult time, right? Maybe the resume is not updating, you know what I'm saying? But I don't get it. Like, I don't understand, right? So it's just like, and then, like, gone are the days where it's like, oh, at least you guaranteed to there's no safety in your job, my G. There's no safety. So every dollar you get, save that shit. Word, right? Point number 3. I ain't gonna lie, the 40-hour work week is brutal. Folks who just gotta work 40 hours plus, who gotta do more than 40 hours, y'all strong. Y'all real strong. Y'all strong as a motherfucker. I remember I had to work my last job, right? Great, I love my coworkers there, right? If anybody saw that series at my help desk job, y'all know that was some shit in itself, right? But I had to wake up at 4 in the morning, right? A lot of people gonna be like, oh, this dude's complaining. You have to wake up at 4 in the morning. I gotta work graveyard shifts. I'm like, bro, you gotta think about it, right? 4 a.m. to 1 p.m., right? My social life took a hit because I am a dancer, right? A lot of the things that I do for fun starts at 10 p.m. So that's when all my friends go out. We go to the bar. Nigga, by the time I get to the bar, it's time to go home. I can't do shit, right? And then ultimately, they was going to put me on the graveyard shift, which would be from, 9 to like 5 in the morning. I was like, hell nah, I can't do that, right? I tried speaking to them about it, and they had told me that it was going to be a night shift job. I was like, I'm not really interested in that position. If I still had my 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. shift, I would have still been there. I'm not going to cap. I would have still been there. But when I started working from 4 a.m. to 1 p.m., I was like, nah, I started getting heart palpitations. I started breathing. My breath was getting shallow and shit. I'm like, yo, am I bugging? So I try to ride the wave out a little bit more. I'm thinking I'm being dramatic and shit. Nah, bro. This shit was like, I'm Googling and shit. I'm going to the doctor. They like, yo, are you experiencing high levels of stress? I said, I don't think so. I wake up in the morning, I'm pissed off already, right? I get on the goddamn computer, I see a whole slew of motherfucking tickets. I'm like, who the fuck was working the shift before me? Because ain't no way in hell there's this many fucking tickets. And I'm the new nigga here. So who the fuck? And then I started figuring out the dynamics. There's certain people that will just be online, but really ain't attending to the tickets. I'm just like, oh, so this what y'all finessing the shit, and then whoever comes up next got to deal with it. Real smart. So I peep game, right? But I'm not an ass. I'm going to do the tickets too. But there was a day where I was just like, if everybody else cheating, why the fuck do I got to be the naive good guy? I said, fuck this. I'm about to get this free bread. But then in the back of my mind, I'm feeling bad because I'm like, damn, these tickets is kind of piling up a little bit. So I'm contributing to the problem too. You know what I'm saying? I put my homie on to the job and shit. And he's like, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. There's a lot of tickets. You know what I'm saying? But he's doing his thing though. Shout out to him. You know what I mean? But it's good bread. You know what I'm saying? But I just couldn't do that. I couldn't do it, bro. It was starting to manifest in many ways. And then some dude on the line was cursing me out. I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Usually you gotta give 2 weeks. I left the same week. I ain't gonna cap. I left the same week. And then any of my coworkers, you could call them up right now. They'll be like, yo, Joel was a good guy. You know what I'm saying? I was trying my best, you know what I'm saying? I ain't complain, I ain't say shit. I just went about my day, did my thing. But it's just like, you get shitty like environments. You gotta work 40 hours, and it's not their fault. If you're gonna work in IT or help desk, that's just the nature of the job, right? So it's like, if you're gonna do that kind of job, just know you gotta be a strong motherfucker. I'm not gonna lie, and plan your escape. If you're gonna do IT, make sure you get in help desk for the experience and get the fuck out. Word. You don't want to do that for life. Promise you, you're gonna be fucked up. Look it up. There's articles on the internet that describes this shit. They gonna call you on. You think you got PTO? Okay, you gonna have to work that Saturday if somebody calls out. Yup. You thought you was good? I ain't gonna lie, the benefits was nice. I had dental, I had health insurance, I had a 401k. It was nice. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, fuck that. Fuck that. Right? And we already have studies that show that the 40-hour work week is no longer optimal. So why the fuck are we still emulating that system? Like, why are we doing that? Like, we only have one shot at this life. Why the fuck am I spending 40 hours a week on a job and this leads me on to my next point. Why the fuck am I spending 40 hours a week on a job, right? And I still can't pay for basic shit, right? Like, what the fuck is the point of that shit? I feel like if anyone has a job, right, they should be able to afford the necessities, right? That should be guaranteed. Like, job, you good. Now, if you want to level up, you want to get a penthouse, mansion, then now you're going to have to start having to do some other skills like work in the cloud and do stuff like that. Become a DevOps engineer, stuff like that. Become a QA tester. You know what I'm saying? Ask that, whatever. But why the fuck? Like, you can't even do the bare minimum when it's like you need a job. So it's just like, bro, what's the point of trying? There's so much barriers for the thing that I have to do in this life. But it's like, it's mad hard to acquire that. So it's just going to make people go into that defeatist mentality. Like, man, I ain't going to lie. I've been applying. There's people who drop 1,000 applications, bro, and they still haven't gotten deployed. There's been people who's been unemployed for 2 years, bro. 2 years, right? That's a long time. I'm not going to sit here and cap like, hey, man, your resume probably trash. I'm not going to say that because I know people who got fire resumes, right? They're not even getting to the interview, gang. You know what I'm saying? But that's going to contradict that. Oh, if you got a fire resume, why are you not even getting an interview? The competition is steep. You got to remember, there's so many factors, bro. So I'm not going to sit here and act like people don't be doing what they doing. Now, if you got a shitty resume, that's on you, gang. I'm not going to lie. You're going to have to upload a resume specialist and do that, you know what I'm saying? But they make it so hard. And then you got an ATS tracking system. So it's not even humans reading your shit no more. It's the goddamn bots reading your shit. And if it doesn't pass the ATS scanner, right, you're done. Your resume is going straight to ineligible. You're not even getting looked at. You could have your something spelt wrong. The formatting is off because you don't know. You have been out. You've been working since 2012, and then you get laid off in 2020, right? You haven't found a job since, so your resume is a little shaky, right? You're like, damn, I got this old ass resume. I'm gonna tweak some things here. You still got the old resume building template mindset because you never needed to update your shit. You was coach, but you got laid off, and now it's like, damn, I'm not getting shit, right? You got 67 years of experience. Hello, help me, right? And that's why it's very important to build relationships. You know what I'm saying? It's just, so, you got that good person, boom, you good for the most part, right? Still got to pass the interview. And that's another thing. Let's talk about the interviews, right? They make you do 17 rounds of interviews, bro. Again, making the barrier of entry so thick. But they could lay you off like this. So it's like, bro, I got the certificate, I got the degree, I get the interview, I passed the first interview, I passed the second interview. The third interview, the CEO is having a shitty day, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, I'm not able to read the room, like, it's just, a lot of tension in the room, right? And it's like, okay, we'll give you a call back. Interview ends short. Sometimes it's not even your fault, gang. Word to bro, right? Word to bro. Okay? So it's just like the things that you have to do is extremely difficult already. So it makes people like, yeah, I don't even want to try, because it's like, bro, they making this. I have to get money in this life, but they making it hard as hell to even get started with the bread. Like, they make it so hard. So a lot of people's like, nah, I'd rather go on YouTube, get monetized and create content and chase a dream, right? Because at least with that, people are seeing proof. This is my next point. People are seeing proof that you can make a shit ton of money on the internet, bro. You know, there's people younger than me. I was in Atlanta a month ago? I met a group of young bloods, like 19, 20. They live in a fat ass crib. I'm like, yo, what the fuck y'all be doing for a living? This dude got a BMW, I9, I10, I don't know what the fuck. I'm not a car guy, right? I'm like, what the fuck y'all be doing? Oh, meme coins? The fuck is a meme coin? He's showing me the shit. I'm like, he said, yeah, I made like 13 bands off of this one play in like 5 seconds. Nigga, what? You made how much in 5 seconds? And you telling me I gotta work 40 hours a week for 3 bands a month? The fuck? Right? And then people's gonna be like, yeah, meme coins, you can make a shit ton of money. That shit has sailed. But you could get rug pulled, you could do all, like, I was looking it up. You see how I know the vocabulary and shit, right? Trust me, I was over there like, shit, I might have to put a little bread in that motherfucker. Oh, God. I gotta put a little bread in that jar, right? And then I asked the other dude that lived, because it's like 3 dudes in one crib, right? I asked the other dude, I'm like, yo, what you do? He said, I do meme coins, but I really like resell like accounts and shit like that. I resell accounts on like a website and shit. I'm just like, what type of accounts? He was talking about like Call of Duty accounts, Fortnite accounts, and he was talking about how he made mad bread just doing that. Like selling accounts that had legendary skins and all that stuff. I'm just like, yo, people's making bread on the interwebs. I'm talking like $5,000 in one play. In one play. In one play. Remember that. One play. Right? The only difference in that is the grind in that aspect is a little bit longer. It's longer than 40 hours. But I'm not going to lie. That payoff, bro, you could be set for life. You grab that bread, you stash it in something, the S&P 6,000, whatever the fuck is that, real estate. Let the shit build up passively. Go live in Bali, Thailand for a little bit. Gonna be Gucci, right? But it's like all these people are hearing, oh, Kai Cenat got 1 million subs on Twitch. Shout out to bro. He just hit 1 million subs, bro. That's one sub is $3 fucking. An Amazon Prime sub, I think it's like 7, and he got 1 million of them bitches streaming. Of course, everybody about to flock to streaming. That's why it's oversaturated now. That's why YouTube is oversaturated. You think anybody would give a fuck about YouTube if they couldn't make bread on it? Hell no. Fuck am I making content for? It would be some people that care about it, but not to this degree. They're like, oh, I could sit in the crib, I could make a vlog and make 10 bands. And the thing is, people think that everybody's trying to be a millionaire. No, people just want to make $4,000 to $5,000 a month off the internet and be Gucci, because at least they have their time freedom, right? They make a video, takes about 2 to 3 hours a day. They make a call 4 or 5 bands a month. If they could scale it, cool. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like, why would I spend 40 hours, right, working on somebody else's dream? They giving me a cut from what they make, and they make a shit ton, when I could just do that for myself. And the investment to work online is $0. All I gotta do is drop bread for a camera, some equipment, buy a laptop maybe, and that's it. That's the only shit. And then the shit just prints. You know what I mean? But it's difficult. I'm not gonna say and act like, oh, this shit easy. It's not. All the motherfuckers that be like, YouTube is on easy mode, they're lying to you. It's a lie. Lie from the pits of hell. Lie. Word. Right? Do not believe that shit. So it's like, even that, there's a lot of scammers that make courses that be like 10 bands, right? They know how to, they're a good salesman. So one play pays for the rent for like 5 months. They make one sale, 10,000 right there, boom, easy. There's a lot of people that's doing that right now. They sell a course, they have a school community making bread. Bread. Chicken, cheddar, cheese. And you telling me I gotta work 40 hours a week, right? I tried to explain this shit to my mom the other day, right? She calls me every time, right? Or I call her, vice versa, right? She's like, Jojo. That's what she calls me in Creole because I'm Haitian, right? She's like, Jojo, have you found a job yet? I'm like, no, I don't need one. She's like, sometimes I worry about you because you don't have a job. How you paying that bill? I can't tell you how many times I tried to explain to her that I'm a YouTube influencer. I do social media. I make money on the internet. I explained this shit to her like 50 times over the course of like 10 years, right? Trust me, I've had jobs in between that, but for some reason I keep coming back here, right? It's like the boomers, they don't get it. I hate when boomers be like, oh, work harder. My nigga, clearly working harder is not gonna get you paid more. It's gone are the times where you could have one job, you work hard as fuck, they respect you, so they gonna keep you there, right? And you can afford everything in life. Word. Mortgage ain't 50,000 no more. The house ain't 50,000 no more, gang. This shit in New York is like $1 million for a crusty ass crib. No cap. $1 million. So it's just like, why the fuck? Like, I feel like a lot of the people that make a lot of good money now is off of a good idea. Good ideas generate good bread. That's just what it is. And timing. You know what I'm saying? If you could find something that's like lit, like meme coins, if you jumped in as soon as the shit was popping off, most likely you made bread off of it. If you try to get into meme coin now, oh my God. The amount of rug pulls I done seen from reading it for a short amount of time, because I was trying to get in, I was like, I ain't gonna lie, this motherfucker is risky. This is a risky business, brother. It's risky, right? So it's like, you can't blame us, right? And I'm in between. I was born in 90. I'm 27, right? I'm talking about the people before, like a little bit younger than me now, right? 18, 19, that's growing up now. And they trying to make bread off the internet. They trying to do t-shirt, merch drops. They trying to do YouTube streaming. You can't blame them because they hearing the shit with the jobs now. They like, why the fuck would I do that? If I see Tony down the street driving an i3, right? And I ask him what he do, he's like, bro, I just drop shit, or I do TikTok shop. Why the fuck would somebody not want to do that instead? I could make $100K in a month. What the fuck? There's a lot of people on TikTok shop making bread. That's just one of the avenues right now. I have friends who do that right now. They make a shit ton of bread. I'm just like, bro, that's crazy. Like, they'll show me stats. And I'm like, bro, you made $3K today? In a day. You made $3,000 in one day. One day. I told y'all about the dude that made $15K in 5 seconds, right? Okay. All right. Y'all think I'm lying? Look it up. Look it up. The proof is there. It's there. It's all across the internet. It's crazy. So it's like, with all the information that is provided to us, and we're given a slew of cards, having a 9-to-5 does not seem like the most feasible option, right? It would be nice if it was easy to get. I wouldn't mind. I'd be like, okay, I'll apply for a job. I don't got to put 700 applications, go through 7 interviews, and then for a ghost to get ghosted. You know what I'm saying? How does that make sense? You know what I mean? Especially people that are training to be in a career, right? Say if you're somebody that, again, got your computer science degree, right? And you're like, yes, I'm about to be in cybersecurity. I went to WGU. Yes, I'm about to do my thing, right? You get out, and then you ain't got no job. You got to work at Starbucks. Starbucks giving you a hard time because you got no cashier experience. My nigga, teach me how to do the shit. Right? That's all you got to do. Now you got people doing gig work, DoorDash, Uber Eats. That shit don't pay a fucking thing. Especially, and the strange thing about it that if you do, the longer you do Uber and Uber Eats and DoorDash and stuff like that, the less they pay you. How do I know that? Because I've done it. I've done Uber Eats, like around the pandemic time. I was able to make like a good $100 in 4 hours. And then I realized the more and more I was using the app and doing Uber Eats, the shittier the pay got. I was just like, what the fuck is happening? I don't know if it's an influx of riders, but yeah, it was getting bad. So I was just like, nah, I gotta think of something else, right? So I done tried different things, but it's very bleak right now. It looks very bleak. And then the internet doesn't make it worse. You find videos like myself that talk about the frustrations, and then you see other people that say, oh, there's been 18, Microsoft just laid off 20,000 employees. They don't give a fuck. And then the rise of AI, you better make sure, y'all motherfuckers that's sleeping on AI, y'all gotta wake up. As much as I don't like it, I know how to use it. You gotta use it. It just is what it is. I hate it. But you gotta use it. Unfortunately, it's being implemented everywhere because why? AI is gonna be the thing that makes it easier to cut cost, right? So if you're a person that have the skill and you know how to use AI, oh, you're good. You're good, right? So any tool that comes out and you see that it's gonna be your enemy, learn it. Learn the limitations. Learn the fuck out of that motherfucker, right? But yeah, that's really my spiel on this video. It's getting very interesting out here in these American streets, you know what I'm saying, in the US of A. Gone is the American dream is gone. It's gone. It's finished. It's done. That ship has sailed a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not making this video to move people away from getting a 9-to-5 job. I'm simply expressing the concerns because I really, it makes my heart hurt when I hear my friends talk about, man, I'm not making enough money, man. I need to find another job. They're just jumping from part-time to part-time job. And it's like, there's a lot of people going into tech, and I've been in the tech field, and I'm just like, they can get the credentials, but it's like, is it going to even be like guaranteed? So I'll be telling them, make sure like your GitHub look good. Make sure you get some internship, apprenticeship, something. You know what I'm saying? So that you might have to fuck around and lie. Word to bro. You might have to lie. If you lie on your resume, you better be able to talk real good. You gotta be able to talk real good. Not gonna lie, right? But yeah, it just sucks to see that there's people really out here trying, and that they just can't get an opportunity. If they were given just one opportunity, bro, to display their skills, I'm pretty sure they would have a lot of these. I feel like a lot of employers are missing out on good candidates because they don't have the 1 year of experience or the 3 years of experience. I'm like, bro, if you just train them like you train everybody anyways at the entry level, which makes no sense. I don't understand. That shit pisses me off. I'm just like, why would somebody need this amount of experience when you're gonna train them anyway? I can't count the amount of times I done started a job and as a specialist, a support specialist in IT, I ain't know shit about the program. But because I had a GitHub showing that I've created my own ticketing system, and I know what a VPN is, and I know what IP and subnetting is, I got the job, right? But when they train me on this shit, I'm just like, this has nothing to do with whatever the fuck I just learned and got a certificate for. So why the fuck would I need 1 to 3 years of experience? It just doesn't make sense. Like no one, and then they'd be like, oh, it's okay. You're not expected to know everything. So why do you need 1 to 3 years of experience? You see what I'm saying? It's not fair. It's not fair. And that pisses me off because it's like, bro, give the nigga a job, bro. It's that simple. They just want an opportunity, bro. Everybody just wants an opportunity. Everybody's acting too stingy to give somebody an opportunity. Give the nigga an opportunity. Fuck. Shit. Especially if they young, blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, 17, 18, trying to get into the field. He's excited. You could see the excitement. But, oh, yeah, you don't got the experience. Bro, that could have been the next Elon Musketeer. You see that energy radiated from bro? Because he ain't work at Google, but he has a portfolio displaying, and he's straight out the field. He spent all his time kind of like just working around computers and shit, but he's just never worked a job before. He's just been playing around, playing League with his friends, this, that, and the third, playing Counter-Strike, playing Crossfire, playing Guns to Duel. They dropped that on Steam. I'm gonna cook your ass, right? All these different games, but they really tech savvy. They know how to set up their own private servers and all kinds of different intricate things, right? They know how to use Active Directory. They know how to do all of that. User management, passwords, resets, whatever, right? But because they don't have, I worked at Cisco or IBM for 3 years, they're not qualified. Yeah, that's fucked up. I ain't gonna cap. That's a broken system. That's a broken system. I would understand that for an intermediate level job. Okay, 1 to 3 years. Okay, I understand. Entry level, you want 1 to 3 years? Some of it be like 2 to 5. How? And then the pay be like $40K a year. Who the fuck is? Come on, bro. Come on. Let's be for real, bro. In this economy, $40K a year? Entry level? Okay, I understand that at an entry level, right? But then don't make it seem like you need 15 years of experience at entry level for $40K. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And then you have the problems where it's like, oh, you have too much experience. Like, you can't win. They say, oh, if they have too much experience, that means that they're likely to leave. But we're causing a problem here, right? If you want 1 to 3 years, now you see senior people applying for entry level because they like, I can't get shit. Let me modify my resume a little bit and apply for some entry level and try to get in through the back door. Let me see if I could get in through the network. Take a little pay cut and then try to jump up again. Right? So it's like the whole thing is just like, yo, it's like, it just makes people be like, yo, what's the point? The amount of times I done thought, like I have my RHCSA, right? Which is the red hat. I have that. A lot of people don't know that. I have my RHCSA, right? And after I got my certificate and I found that I had to do an apprenticeship, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, this is a lot, right? So y'all could say I'm lazy, whatever, right? But I was like, damn, this is a lot, bro. I spent a year acquiring my RSCSA, right? Through Yellowtail. Great company, by the way. Amazing. Shout out to Alan. Great teacher. You know what I'm saying? Classmates were amazing, right? If I wanted to be a Linux system administrator, I would do their shit again. Without a doubt. Right? But I'm not going to lie, I kind of got burnt out, right? And this is on me. I'm not trying to, this has nothing to do with Yellowtail. This is just me. I spent 8 years, 8 to 9, let me say like 6 to 12 months acquiring my RCSA, right? And then after that, I had to go get an apprenticeship. By that point, I was just like, my mind, I don't know if it's the ADHD. My mind was, I just couldn't do it. I was just like, I ain't gonna lie, this is a lot. And then I was looking at entry-level Linux system admin positions. You gotta learn Ansible, this, that, dumb. I'm like, holy shit, bro. There's more? I'm like, there's more? Shit. But I understand why they get paid the way that they do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you gotta do all of this shit for a chance, and you could still get denied. It feels like trying to go for the NBA. Word to bro. It's just so much. It's like the American dream is built for you to be burnt out, low key. You gotta do all this shit for a chance, and you gotta do 17 rounds of interviews, bro. It's like, oh my God. Interviews are anxiety inducing, bro. Because literally what an interview is you're trying to convince the other person that you're good for the job. It's just really just sales. You know what I mean? but they make it so hard to get it. I mean, but yeah, I have my RTSA. I have my Google Ads certificate. I have a whole bunch of shit. I'm just one of those dudes that have a lot of accolades for different reasons. Like, if I wanted to go into the job market now, I probably could get a job within 6 months. Not to brag, okay? But it still makes it very difficult. I often think like, damn, bro, shit. Like, I gotta brush up on this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It's a lot, bro. It's a lot, bro. It's a lot. And life is already stressful as it is. Stressful as a motherfucker. But yeah, that's the video. I want to know y'all thoughts on this. I will be reading the comments on this because I want to know how we could resolve this issue and what your experience has been like trying to get a job in 2025 or trying to upgrade. I know the people who feel this a lot are the people that haven't had a job in their life. Like, they just focused on schooling the entire time. And then straight out of high school, they try to find their job. They're having a really hard time because it requires experience. It's like, dude, I just came out of school. What the fuck? I'm trying to get some money so I could get the next pair of J's or some shit. Or go to the movie, take my girlfriend out, my high school girlfriend out. You can't even give me a job. I mean, I'm trying to apply to go to the movie theaters and shit. They making you gotta have experience as a cashier or something. Like, it's wild. I don't understand that. How can you not be qualified to work as a cashier, bro? It is an easy ass job. Doesn't make sense, right? This is why a lot of people are gravitating to the internet. It's like, okay, if I could learn how to video edit, I could sell my services to somebody else. They could pay me this, that, and third. Or if I do YouTube and I bet on myself, it could turn into something. Or if I do streaming, I bet on myself, it could turn into something, right? It's just like a lot of people would rather do that because at least they have some sort of control. You know what I mean? But the competition out here is steep. Not gonna lie, very steep. I'm in a very, very lucky situation right now, and I do not play with that. You know what I mean? So when y'all come here and y'all support, y'all show love, it's just like, yo, the least I could do is upload a video. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a very privileged position, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, YouTube is in easy mode. This shit is hard, right? Is it harder than a 9 to 5? No, definitely not. No. I'm not even going to start that conversation. I'll be delusional to say that. Right? Is it stressful? Yes. Yes, it is. But anyways, I want to hear your thoughts. And with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, and follow my Instagram in the description. And with that being said, go suck your mother blood clot.